Perseverance Code Media presents Life Situation Commentaries Series 10. I'm Raul Cortez Jr. And today we're going to be talking about genius. You know, is it a creative or intelligence? How I describe a genius is it's an attribute that should describe your level of creative intelligence and not your intelligence quotient. Creativity is usually an artistic person or an inventive person, an inventor or an artist. Artists usually create, they create, they're in control of their own creation, whether it's a painter, a writer, a musician. They compose their own notes and sounds. A writer, they write their own compositions. They write their own stories. They write their own poems, songs, etc., etc. Or an inventor, a creative person is an inventor. They invent or create technology. They invent or they create a tool. A tool to build and to create other things. Like this phone that I'm using here to record this footage. Somebody invented it. It didn't always exist. It wasn't always here. So an intelligent person, however, is different from a creative person. An intelligent person is usually a well-educated person. Well, the way that I'm going to describe an intelligent person is somebody who is successful in the social world. That's why in this video, I believe that a genius is not really an intelligent person. A genius, they dictate or they create or they revolutionize the social world. Whereas an intelligent person, they play their part in the social world. They fit in. They fit in the social structure. They go to school. They get their license. They drive a car. They get a house. They get a college education. They get a job. More likely in the corporate setting, and they make a lot of money and they live happily ever after. That's the type of life or characteristic of an intelligent person. Whereas a genius, on the other hand, and this is point number 2, the character traits, where a genius is more inclined to experience loneliness, failure, being wrong, poverty. A genius will take a lot of risks. A genius lives life on the edge, on the edge or outside the social realm. So, and these are the difference of an intelligent and a creative person. A genius leans more to a creative person than an intelligent person. Point number 3. Creativity is the road less traveled. As I just mentioned, geniuses are more often alone, and they experience poverty. They experience loneliness, seclusion. They experience a lot of failure because they're different. They're different people. Geniuses, above all things, are different people. They're different from the rest of the pack. Okay? They don't do what everybody else does. They don't live like everybody else. They don't think the same way. They don't even feel comfortable in the social bubble a lot of times. Many times a genius is trying to either overthrow the social bubble or enhance it. One or the other. So that's the thing about a genius. That's the thing about creativity, is the road less traveled. People who travel, who try to fit in the social world, who try to fit in society, They follow the trend. They follow the trend. So point number 4, does society program you, or do you program society? So a genius is more inclined, a genius because they're creative by nature, they program society. They set the trend. They set the trend. Whereas an intelligent person, they are programmed by society. You know, they go to college to get a degree. They get the degree. And based on their degree, you measure their smarts, or you measure their level of success. You know? But you can't use intelligence quotient to assess a genius or assess a person who is creative. You know, you can't do it. You know, a person created an intelligence quotient. Somebody created that system, and based off that person's system, they gauge your intelligence. You know, they gauge your intelligence. They gauge what you know and how you know. You know, you can't do that for a genius. A genius can have poor grades. A genius could drop out of school, you know, and not be educated with the same material that a person who goes to school. So it's a big difference. Point number 5, 10 years at Ryder Dining. Last week, I celebrated, along with many others at Ryder University, 10 years of working at Ryder Dining, working for Aramark Ryder Dining. And I lasted there because I was different from everybody else. You know, I was non-conformant. I was a non-conformant for 10 years. And I think that would play a part in my staying power. I mean, I consider myself to be pretty intelligent, but it wasn't really intelligence that kept me at that job. You know, it was being creative. It was trying to pursue or aspire to be a genius, to make a difference, to live life in love, to do it the way nobody else has ever done it. You know, I don't know anybody else in the country who works for a food service company at a university or school who have taken the risks that I've taken, who have impacted their institution the way I have. You know, if you know somebody, you know, let me know. I would like to look it up. I would like to research it. But as far as I know, I'm the only one that has done it the way I've done it. So point number 6, Perseverance Code Media is a result of creativity. You know, when you go to on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter for my Perseverance Code Media links, you know, I did all the pictures, I did the graphic design, I create the videos. You know, I dictate the content of what the videos are about. You know, I go to the events, I dictate what events I'm going to broadcast on the Perseverance Code Media. You know, I dictate the kind of movies that I'm going to talk about and how I'm going to talk about them. You know, because I'm different. I have all this creative skills and I'm putting it into action. So, point number 7, I want to end on this note. Singular creation with good intent versus mass creation with bad intent. I think it's important to be different. I think it's important to not fit in the social bubble, because the more you fit in, the less you're noticed. And if the world is in dire straits, if the world is a bad place to live in, then you cannot make a difference by the platform that they have. You know, you have to be different. You know, love is not a common thing in this world. Love is not a common thing in this world. So you have to live life in love. If you're truly going to make a difference, you have to be creative with good intent. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Everybody's out for self in this world. What are you willing to do for other people to make a difference? I'm Raul Cortez Jr., Life Situation Commentaries, Series 10. Thank you for watching.